Good morning and welcome to Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel.
Alrighty, Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us on this Monday morning. It's December 9th.
Actually,
My name's Joe Callahan.
Our guest joined us, Joe.
That's right. Anyway,
we were here already.
That's right. We didn't move. That's Dave Richards right over there. Hi, Dave.
Hey, how are you?
And there's our guest, Woonsocket School Committee Chairperson, Paul Bourget.
Good morning.
How are you, Paul?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me on the show.
Nice to have you here. And
Melissa Murray is sliding in from third.
I saw her go by the window, so she is here. So the first thing we need to bring up, and this is, teach all your youngsters, teach your youngsters to hit a curveball. And you, too, can make a 15-year, $765 million contract.
Wow.
Like our friend Juan Soto just signed. Went from the Yankees to the Mets.
They'll never pay him that.
Sure they will.
That's all just headlines.
No, that's not headlines. That's Major League Baseball has guaranteed contracts.
Oh, that's full. That's just baloney.
By the way, that's $51 million a year. In case you were, I did the math. That's
got
Melissa Murray over there. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning.
It's like a mortgage. I take out a 30-year mortgage. Just like a tiny percentage of mortgages ever go to full term before somebody changes houses or pays them off or refinances or something like that.
You're completely wrong on this.
It doesn't matter
when it comes to baseball contracts.
It doesn't matter.
The Red Sox played, I forget his name, Pablo Sandoval.
Right.
10 years after he was gone, Red Sox was still paying him.
Yeah, so what?
Because he has his contract. He'll get all this money. Absolutely.
And what's he going to do with it all?
Oh, I don't know.
They had a nice
Anyway,
skit
doesn't
for
matter.
him on Saturday Night Live.
The
Speaking of
question
famous,
is he happy? Is he happy?
I bet he is. I think he is.
speaking of famous people,
He's happy.
did you realize that our guest today, Paul Bourget, just finished his stint this weekend at what was it, Mohegan Sun?
Yeah, okay.
I brought that up because,
Was I there?
we brought it up because at the groundbreaking of the George Nasuti School,
Yes.
Which is why
by the
we
way,
asked you to come.
It couldn't have been any colder that day, but anyway, I guess it could have been colder.
I didn't even recognize you, even with the beard, had your mucklucks on and your hat and.
When you were done speaking, Superintendent McGee said, Paul's a tough act to follow. He'll be appearing at Foxwoods this weekend.
Mohegan Sun.
Mohegan Sun.
Mohegan
All right,
Sun, okay.
Mohegan Sun. It was Mohegan Sun. I thought it was Mohegan Sun.
But it was a good event. It
was fabulous.
Well attended, even
was
with
over 100 people.
how ridiculously cold it was that
Right.
day. But which was the good part about it, silver lining, was short speeches.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody fool around.
We had so many people. 5 people had to speak, and they all got up and said, "Thanks for coming." And isn't this
It's
great?
cold. Let's get out of the weather.
Next, it's so cold. Isn't this great? We're glad we're here, and we move on.
And we move on.
Beautiful.
And it was great. But
It was crazy though, but it was easier to recognize the shooter in Manhattan that killed that CEO on the video footage than it was to recognize people like Infante Green.
that was tough.
Our ride director. I said, "That's her."
Yeah.
I've seen her before.
No.
I didn't even recognize
She
her
was
in the
covered
picture.
head to toe in this
Parker with
big
the
blue
hood.
coat. And
I
she
know
said,
it.
and she
and
sat
dark
next.
sunglasses.
She sat next to me
Yeah,
and said,
always
"I am
glasses.
frozen."
Oh yeah.
With all that on.
Yeah,
She was so cold.
It was cold though.
But
We could have sat next to each other on a bus.
You
with
would
her
never
dressed
know.
like that, I wouldn't have known who I was sitting next to.
That's true.
only Governor McKee wore a bit. Well, Chris Beauchamp didn't wear any hat.
I
Chris
know.
Beauchamp-
Beauchamp was well underdressed.
He
had a
was.
spring coat,
And,
regular pants, no gloves,
and
nothing.
the governor was there.
He looked like a real man up
The governor
there.
had
He
a
was.
baseball hat on. And
I didn't care about
everyone else
looking like a real man.
No, you look fine, Paul.
I didn't care.
So you had the ceremonial groundbreaking. Went well. Everyone got their shovels and threw the dirt. But when does the real groundbreaking going to start?
We're going to start building in March,
Okay.
April.
Of the-
Hopefully, if there's
When
no
the ground
snow,
when the ground is
ground's
less
a little
frozen.
softer, right? So it's going to start in the spring.
Well, you
Okay.
could start if there's snow. You're more likely to be able to dig. But the problem is, if there's no snow, the top layer of soil will turn to permafrost kind of stuff. It'll be all frozen. You won't be able to dig if there's no snow.
Dave, I'm never outside long enough in that kind of weather to figure it out.
Yeah.
I want to be inside looking out.
Whatever. So the school's going to be basically where the field and the stands are right now, right?
No, it's going to be
It's
more
farther
to the
back.
left.
More to the
So
left?
if you faced,
Over the softball stadium?
it's going to be left.
Or baseball?
It's going to be towards the western part of the field.
Oh.
So if you come
I
into
got the wrong idea looking at the
you
picture.
come into the field
Yeah.
like you normally do.
Yeah.
It's going to be on this side
On-
because of utilities.
On the left side.
Yeah, it's going to be closer to utilities.
Oh, that's
it
right,
was-
because of the little alleyway in back of the mall.
This was set. We had set this way back.
Yeah.
Now they said, "Are you out of your mind? You know what it's going to cost you to put piping and your lines?" So they moved it left and forward, but it's still going to be a good 400-500, maybe more feet from the road.
Uh-huh.
But that's why they did that. So the architect says, "Great school, let's move it over.
Uh-huh.
It'll be less
it-
expensive."
And, and it still fits.
It fits fine. It's
Yeah.
going to be fine. We're going to house 1,100 students from the 3 schools that are being closed: Coleman, Vernon, and Globe.
Or maybe only 1,000 students, because, you know, the enrollment's going down.
Well, it's also, it vacillates. It goes down, then we can get to
You get a
March, and all of a
spurt?
sudden, yes, because we're a turnstile community.
Yeah.
That's true,
A
yeah.
lot of families come in.
Yeah.
Some families leave, and we have trouble. Look, our graduation rate is always affected by students move, and we can't find out where they went,
Yeah?
and that counts against us.
Oh, my.
So if I send students to you in Pawtucket and you register them, oh, they're in Pawtucket, no problem.
Right?
But if
But, yeah.
if they leave,
And you
and
don't
you
know.
don't know where they
are.
went.
it counts against us, and we always have a bunch like that every year.
No kidding.
Yep, every single year.
So it looks like they didn't graduate. So it brings your percentage
Correct.
down.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they should figure the calculate the rate on how many students are actually in the school at graduation time, not at the beginning of the year.
Well, that makes too much sense.
Hmm.
Right. Come
Sorry
on,
about that.
David.
Sorry. I repent. I repent.
Dave, Paul.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Your
East Ball.
your recollection. Who was the first person that suggested we should call the new school the George Nasuti Elementary School?
It was Ty, superintendent, and I.
Right. You both.
We
said-
just said, we got to name the school.
Yeah. Who should we
And
name
I
it
went, what
after?
about the George Nasuti? Because
both
of
had-
everything. He was principal of 2 of the schools were closing.
Yeah.
And
Oh, what? I
athletic
didn't realize that.
director,
Okay, yeah.
coach, teacher,
Yeah.
mentor.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look
Yep.
at our school committee meetings above us,
Mm-hmm.
is a banner that says, give respect,
Get respect.
get respect.
Yeah.
George's motto.
That's a perfect choice.
It is. We think it is, and then we brought it to the school committee, and I talked to them, and they said every single one of us
That's
said,
a no-brainer.
"Wow, yes." City council was a 7-0 vote.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a slam dunk.
Did you get to tell his wife Carol?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
She must have been thrilled. To
She was
death.
thrilled. Because they were thinking about naming the new community center after George.
Right.
So Garrett said, "We got a problem. Has anybody talked to the school committee or the education department?" Nope. So that weekend they called us and they said, "Well, what do you think?" And we go, "Well, the community center? No, we're naming the school. The man deserves a school. He's been an educator.
Right.
Let's do that."
Yeah.
And so so the heck with the community centers. That's why they had to make an amendment to their what was it, a resolution or ordinance
Uh-huh.
resolution, and they changed it to the school. So he was hot on everyone's lips.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So okay. No, it's a perfect choice to name the school after him. So everyone was happy with their speeches at the groundbreaking.
I think so.
Everyone's just, especially Ride and especially Angelica Infante Green, and the governor was there. They're just thrilled to death that the school is coming. But there's always the detractors that are out there that saying this is a lousy place for a school, and how can you put it there? And this is the worst thing ever.
Yes.
What do you say to that?
I say, well, I understand your point of view, but however, we're going to do it anyway.
All right.
Well, you have to. That's why we have leaders. Somebody has to stand on top where there's disagreement and choose a course of action and say this is what's going to happen. That's why our society has leaders in the first place. And guess what, Paul? They elected you. Well, the 5 of you,
Five
and then
of us.
your
Right
peers
now, there's
elected you.
There's no chairman. There's no vice chairman. That's coming up in a
Well,
couple
technically
of weeks.
speaking, you're still chairman
I
until
can
you're not
tell
chairman.
Yeah, I can tell you this from experience. No matter what decision you make, someone is going to be mad at you.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. You can make the best decision in the world, someone will be upset with it.
You know,
so.
we've been dealing with this for
but-
7 years.
Yeah, and our kids deserve new schools. You know, the past
Yeah,
two,
state-of-the-art
the,
school.
the
Yeah.
last 2 weeks of session, maybe the last 3 weeks of session, there were resolutions coming through or bills coming through for almost every single community in Rhode Island.
You're talking about your Senate session
Senate session, yep.
last year, yeah.
Bond to build new schools. Bond to build new schools. Almost every single one.
Every community. Yep.
Yep, except for Woonsocket, right? So Woonsocket's kids deserve a clean, safe, comfortable learning environment, and they will be better learners because of it, regardless of where it is.
Agreed.
Even if folks, and I love neighborhood schools. I went to a neighborhood school. You know, we've walked to and from Harris Elementary with my friends, but you know, I went to a dilapidated school, and in the 80s, Harris was already a dilapidated
almost
school.
100 years old when you were there?
It was, yeah.
Oh,
so,
actually, it was more than 100 years old when you were there.
yeah. It was the old high school, which is why it's on High School Street.
I know people are also, Paul, they're, when they're sending out their complaints, oh, the traffic's going to be miserable. And I think, well, you know what?
And guess what? Too late.
It's
Traffic's already miserable
It's
over there.
already, well, no, it's already miserable if you go by the middle school on Hamlin Avenue when the school lets out, and it's
Oh.
miserable on Cass Ave when the high school gets
I
out.
agree.
Okay, stay away from that area when they're dropping off kids and
Well-
and after school. Now, sometimes obviously you can't, but yeah, and it's only going to be a
The
short amount of
drop-off
time.
point for the buses is going to be well inside the field.
Yeah.
Okay, so they can pull in off the street.
We're also petitioning the state to hopefully get a third lane on Smithfield Road
Right.
for the school.
You're going
So
to
that
give up
could-
some real estate for that?
Yeah, and that's no brainer.
Yeah, right, because you got a lot of real estate to use there.
We've got a lot of real estate. So we certainly will accommodate, we want to accommodate the traffic pattern as much as possible, but it's going to be studied. It's part of the construction process is to evaluate the traffic patterns
Right.
in that area.
Sure.
So we're going to see, because one of the things that has to be considered is the start time and ending time. So if you start a little later, it might be better, or if you start a little earlier, it could be better, et cetera, et cetera.
But
So
Paul, that gets mighty complicated with the school bus situation.
so that's, but again, if we identify the routes and the timing of those routes, it might be better.
Yeah.
Although I have no faith in our
Yeah.
bus company at all.
Yeah, well, we can understand why you
know
say
why.
that, because we listen to the meetings and we listen to the sheer frustration of the reports of what's going on with the
Yeah.
bus carrier.
Right.
And the frustration comes, in my estimation, just as a listener, from looking at it saying, this is awful, but I don't have a better choice to make.
Right, correct. Because the only other bus company other than Durham that we use is First Student.
Right.
And from what I understand, they're worse than Durham. So, and more
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah,
So
oh,
that-
well,
so-
then, yeah.
So that doesn't help matters at all.
Can you go to Massachusetts for a bus company? There's one up there called Michael Connolly. I don't know if they
We-
come in. If they
Some
can come
do,
into
some
Rhode
don't
Island.
because of licenses.
Yeah.
And the like.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the insurances, their insurances.
Right.
So we've tried, that hasn't worked.
Okay.
One thing I've gotten a lot of calls though is about the new about the new school. A couple of things. The city purchased Barry Field from basically a trust, and it was sold in trust.
Right.
All right. It was named after the superintendent, a beloved superintendent
Right.
named Dr. Barry.
Right.
It's not a family named Barry that sold or contributed the land. It was purchased with the sole purpose of being maintained by the school committee for athletic and educational purposes. When we got the grant, not the grant or the bond or whatever, because the city can't go off of bonds. When we told by RIDE, we're going to give you $100 million. If you reduce 3 schools, get rid of 3 schools that we've identified already that you shouldn't rehab, and build a brand new one. And so that's why we are closing 3 schools, the 3 worst schools, and we're going to build at Barry Field.
And Paul, I'm not sure everybody, especially in the neighborhoods, understood that those schools were going to be closed anyway because the state was going to insist on it.
At some point, real soon, yes. And we asked them, could we have money to fix those schools instead? They said
Yeah.
no. It was just no.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
No,
All right.
you're getting nothing to fix. So there we go.
All right, we're gonna take
I'm
a
just
break.
going to clarify that was RIDE and, not,
Right,
not the General Assembly.
Okay.
It was not the General Assembly. I agree,
Not
Melissa.
because
Rhode Island
Yeah.
Department of Education. Gotcha. All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program and more coming your way. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
Most people believe in planning ahead for special events. It's also important to plan for the unexpected. The DePardo family and their caring professional staff at the S. DePardo Memorial Chapel Funeral Home will make you feel at ease when you're ready to pre-plan for yourself or someone else. Their beautiful Victorian-style facility at 1583 Diamond Hill Road includes a reception room, chapel area, and other amenities. Funeral arrangements and preferences differ with each individual. For more information about the S. DePardo Memorial Chapel Funeral Home, visit their website at sdepardomcfh.com. They're located at 1583 Diamond Hill Road, Woonsocket, 767-5577.
Did you know you can shop local this holiday season?
And ski and ride free till December 24th.
Shop at Mountainside Ski and Ride at Wachusett Mountain.
Spend $100 or more and get a free lift ticket good through Christmas Eve.
Located in a Wachusett Beach Lodge, Mountainside guarantees lowest prices.
Check us out on the web at wachusett.com.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
It is Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Murray and Dave Richards and Paul Bourget. And it's K through 5, right?
K
For the
through
elementary-
pre-K through
oh,
4.
pre-K. Oh, really?
All
Okay.
fifth graders are going to be moved to Hamlet Middle School. We're going to take the Hamlet Middle School and make it an upper elementary school. It's going to house the fifth and sixth graders.
and there's plenty of room.
Yep. And
Okay.
and
7 and
Villanova is going to be housing the 7th and 8th graders.
Okay.
That's what we're doing for the city, around the city.
Well, that ought to take care of corralling the characters and rascals.
Oh, we'll have a lot of good comments.
Yeah.
I'm sure when we do that.
Oh,
Can't
yeah, but
wait.
seventh and eighth has been successfully segregated in other school districts, and for good reason.
Yes.
Because a lot of the youngsters in the 7th grade and the 8th grade are reaching the point in their life where they're struggling with changes.
Correct. That's right.
Have I cleaned that up a little?
Yeah, that's well
Perfect,
said.
perfect.
Well said.
Now, Paul,
Wasn't my favorite time.
has a study been done on the amount of students that are dropped off at the elementary schools that you're going to close now by their parents, as opposed to them taking the bus? And I know people are worried about, oh yeah, there's buses
Well,
coming.
some will qualify
but
for
they're-
the bus that didn't qualify before, right?
But they're also
This
worried
is
about
true.
parents in the roadways
The
dropping
school
off
that
their
has
kids.
the school that has the most pedestrian traffic is Coleman.
Yeah,
In
that's true.
Fairmount, they've
It's
got
in the
one
densest
school.
densest residential area.
Now, as you know, there had been a proposal to build an elementary school at Dunn Park.
Right.
Way back when.
Sure.
A couple
They
of years
need
ago.
that park, though, don't they? In that section
Well,
of the city,
well,
they
let me
really
tell-
need that park.
Well, let me tell you something. I rode around for over a month in the summertime, figuring with the playgrounds and everything. There was nobody there.
Oh, they weren't being used?
That was hardly at all. So
Oh,
I'm
my.
hearing. Don't forget they had a petition, a massive petition.
Yeah, right.
In the communities that. But Coleman has, to answer your question, Coleman has the most pedestrian traffic. The other two, it's about. Most of them either get on a bus, or the parents drive them in. So there's very little walking
Okay.
to school. It's not like when I went to school. I had to walk to school and back, and it was uphill both ways, as you've heard.
In the snow.
Well, it's
In
why
summertime, right.
it's why I took my lunch with me, because there was where I went to the Pasco Grammar School.
Oh, sure.
Was walking distance.
Yeah.
Because it was under a mile at that time. That was the rule, but it was far enough away at 8.5 or 9/10 of a mile that you didn't go home, eat lunch, and come back.
Right.
So you brown bagged it.
Of course. And, a lot of parents, we had heard there was a petition of over so many hundred names that we will not,
sure.
we don't want to close the community school. So, okay, we held community meetings.
Yeah.
Where we had the architects, we had RIDE, we had the school department, we had the school committee. We went to we went to Coleman, we went to Globe, and we went to Vernon. You combine all the attendees, forget the presenters, there were 23 people that showed up in
Yeah.
total. Coleman was the one was supposed to be was 500. There were 500 people that signed in. 3 showed up. So apathy, sure. I mean, all this commotion, there was none, because we were expecting it. We were expecting really to have to sell the concept. You know, as you said, Melissa.
Yeah.
You know, kids deserve a new school. We figured we'd have to go through that. There was
Well,
no
there
one that
was-
showed up.
There were some people of deep feelings. I know most of the things that I saw with the opposition to the new school, they seem to be civil about everything.
Yes.
They said this is the way we feel, and we totally disagree with you on this, and they were
Yeah.
very, very angry about it. But they kept a civil tongue, and they were collegiate
with
about
that.
it.
I agree.
And they put their thing forward, and they ended up in the minority, and that's the way it is.
That's exactly what
You got to
happened.
respect that.
Did you change anybody's mind at these meetings?
No,
Came in
I
against
don't
it,
think.
walked out
I don't
for it?
think so. I
No?
don't think we
Okay.
changed anybody's mind. They had their own idea. They felt strongly about keeping the community schools, and said, well, you take a look at Coleman. It's ADA non-compliant at all levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've got any kind of physical disability, you can't get in that school.
That's right.
Right, yeah.
None, zero. And then you look at the repairs that are constantly being made and all touch up.
Flat
it was
roof
constant-
school, yeah.
Awful. It was just awful. I mean, inside, outside. I mean, the buildings were crumbling, frankly. So it's a good move. Yeah.
Oh, well.
So it's exciting to be thinking about this new school that we've been, carrying this for almost 8 years now.
Wow. Now, what do you hear from the bordering town? What are you hearing from North Smithfield? Either
They're
residents?
not happy about this at all.
Well, that might be residents. What about the political structure in town, like the town administrator and their town council? What are they telling you?
Well, what we've heard is that it's the traffic pattern on Smithfield Road. That's
Okay.
the big problem.
That's right.
And that's still, I'm sure we're going to have meetings, and we're still not done. It's going to depend on what the state decides to do with a third lane and how we're going to figure out the traffic pattern. Then we'll have something to talk about. But
Well, you're already at 24,000 cars through Park Square now,
right, so
and you got to back up constantly at Union Village. So, yeah, it's work. It's going to be work to get this to go smoothly.
I take a look at all the problems we have on Cass Avenue with the high school. Early morning and around 1:30, 2 o'clock, and we're trying to work with that and move that pattern around.
Yeah, but you got one thing at Barryfield that you don't have on Cass Avenue: room to get people off the street.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's going to really be good. You look at the Rise Prep over here. There's no room to get anybody off the street, and that's
Oh,
why
it's
they're all on the street.
That's awful, really. I agree with Melissa. There's no
But
place
you're going to
park.
have real estate where you can get people off the street, where you can donate a certain amount of land to a third turning lane.
Correct.
To get people out of the flow of traffic. So that's a great asset with this school that the others don't have.
And it's going to depend if the state decides to allow us to do that. They may say no. They say,
Yeah.
no, it's our road. No. You're not
Just
touching
just
it.
remind them they're the ones that insisted on having that school.
We're
Hey,
talking
listen,
about
you're
different
the ones that
departments
said
here
to
that
have
don't
a-
necessarily
They don't talk to one
talk
another.
to each other. I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes
Well,
these state departments, they don't.
When you
talk to
have a
each
problem
other.
like that, that's when it's time to reach out to the
I agree.
executive and say, "Hey, slap
I
these
agree.
guys around and make them talk, huh?"
Do you think you'll need like a police officer directing traffic?
We don't know that yet. Again, it depends on the traffic study.
Yeah.
And what kind of what you can imagine the first day of school how that's going to be. It's tough on a great day.
Yeah.
This is going to be one heck of a day.
when the cars
Allow
that do
yourselves
show up
extra
don't know where
time.
they're going.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, but
Precisely, yeah.
So
Well,
we
it's
don't
going to
know-
be an expense no matter what, because I mean,
that's right.
we saw at the middle schools, at the 2 middle schools, you had to throw in a light, and that's $50,000-$60,000 a year
Right.
to have a traffic light there. But it had to be done. But you waited to see how it shaked out, and it said, well, no, you really got to have the traffic light, especially because of Davison Avenue.
And just like this new school, we're going to have the traffic patterns and the starting and ending of school day is going to depend
Yeah.
on how the traffic is. Now, if it's horrible all day long, it's going to be set to accommodate the busing and the parents and all that. And at the end of the day, we're going to see how it all turns out. that's unknown right now.
Yeah.
We're just happy to be able to have the groundbreaking ceremony. It felt like the set of Dr. Zhivago while we were there. I can hear the balalaikas playing in the background.
The wind coming over the fields.
Strelnikov coming in on a strain, all those good things. But it was exciting because we had members. We had the governor there, Rohit there, and it was a good day. I mean, finally we had a good day. So it was very pleasant.
Now, I wonder about something.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered about this, but it never meant anything before. But when I heard Paul say a few moments ago that North Smithfield isn't entirely on board with our joy in having a new school at that location, that where is the actual division line? Is it the center line of Great Road?
I think so.
I
The
believe so.
southbound lanes are in North Smithfield. The northbound lanes
Yes.
are in Woonsocket.
It's
Yes.
like the Mason-Dixon line between.
Until you get down the hill where it's
Right.
pretty clear, it's all in North Smithfield.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that was part of my district, but now it is divided, and it is divided right along that line. So I have
Right
all
along
the way
the
down.
right along the
Yeah.
center line between Park Square and down where the beef barn used to be. That's Union Square.
Right.
That the division line between the two municipalities is the
It's in
center
the
line
in the
of
middle
the road.
of the road. You have to assume that because
Well, in a case like that, all you got to do is just tell everybody come in from Park Square. It's on our side of the line.
That's what they'll do.
Oh, that'll work. That'll really work. Sure.
Because it'll be funny because the North Smithfield Police Station is directly across the street.
I know.
I know.
They've got to come into Woonsocket to go turn left out of their police station. Oh, and
Unless
these
they
old
ever
New
move
England
it.
towns, they got to be laughing at us out in the Midwest and California
Right.
because they
Oh.
plan things differently. But in
Yeah.
New England, this is what we've got.
That's all we got. Right. So, we've heard some negative comments, but we've been hearing negative comments right
Since the
along,
beginning.
so we don't care.
Okay.
At this point.
So I'm looking over at the dirt that you threw for the ceremonial, and then I was told it was sand. And I said, because sand doesn't freeze quite as quickly. Because I'm thinking, what if no one can get that shovel into the pile of dirt?
No, it was to prove once and for all that there is a food desert. A desert in Woonsocket. So they brought in the sand
No.
so we could dig.
Oh, it's a symbolic thing.
It was a symbolic bunch of dirt, but it was sand. It was because it was easier to shovel.
Oh,
and
right.
shovel.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And you had a lot of people with shovels there. How many altogether? About a
like
dozen,
15.
wasn't
I
it?
mean,
15 or so.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I'm like, who is everybody?
That's better attending
know,
than school committee meetings.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of like going to a
Everyone
party.
loves a
and,
groundbreaking and a ribbon cutting, and then
Yeah.
That's right.
And then they're
That's
gone.
right.
Yeah, it's an honor. The architect's
yeah.
kid, the
Right.
guy who's going to be doing the construction, the guy who brought in the sand. Give him a shovel.
That's
Who
right. We had
cares?
shovels everywhere.
Everyone gets a shovel and a hard hat.
They said, so at the end, they said, you're going to put all your shovels there. I go, no way. I'm keeping my shovel in my hat. I'm telling you right now. It's been pain for 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
And it's finally, I'm keeping this shovel.
Well, the artist drawing of the school that was up
Yes.
at the shoveling, the
Groundbreaking.
the groundbreaking. Thank you. Looked great.
Yeah, they've done a nice
drawing
job.
looks
Yeah, it does.
fantastic at what the school's going to look like.
It's basically a triangle.
Is that
It
what
looks
it is?
like a
Okay.
Y.
Yeah.
Yeah, and different arms for different levels of the schools because we're going to have the babies, the pre-K,
The
the
pre-Ks,
first.
yeah.
They're
They're going to be on the bottom.
They're going to be on the bottom,
Yeah.
so it's easy access.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're required
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have a wing for two of the grades, and for
wing
1 and
for
2, and 3 and 4. And they have there's community areas. It's a cafetorium because it's a cafeteria and an auditorium.
That's thrifty. Yeah.
We have space where classes can meet outside of the classes and they can do projects together because that's the way you teach today.
Yeah.
It's not a lecturer anymore. It's more involvement,
More hands-on.
more hands-on by the students, and it's been found that kids do better in school. if
What
you do it
about
that way.
outside playing areas?
We got a
basketball
lot.
court?
We have a lot. There's going to be a basketball court.
Because at that
There's
age,
all
they
kinds
still
of-
have recess, don't they?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
and they're going to be running around. We got plenty of places to run around. There's a lot of green. Don't forget, the school cannot be more than 50% of the total acreage.
Oh, is that so?
That's the requirement in the lease, agreement. So we made sure of that. So, and there's plenty of place.
Which means that we're going to move the clubhouse hut or are we going to demolish it?
It's
Are we
gone.
going to put it on a flatbed and bring it down to Cass Ave?
No, right now, what's being done is considered, and it's still in the play, the new community center. That's gonna be on Cumberland Hill Road.
Right.
As you enter, as you're going towards the football field.
Right.
The community center will be near the football field, and about half of it is gonna be for locker rooms,
Yeah.
equipment, showers, so the clubhouse is moving, basically moving. It's moving to,
But the building that houses
think
the
that's
clubhouse
gone. That's
is,
gonna be
yeah,
gone.
it's going to the rubbish heap.
oh yeah.
All right.
It
It's-
needs it.
It's, well, you know,
It's-
for what it was and what it did.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, but yeah, I've been in there, and it's pretty much the tomb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it reminds you of, Raiders of the Lost Ark when you walk in. Seriously.
We were very happy to have it Saturday, last Friday, because it was heated and we were standing in there waiting for the ceremony
call
to
to
begin.
begin.
Yeah.
I wish you could have held it inside after we.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. More coming your way. It's time for the forecast right now, being brought to you by Allstate Insurance.
Rain today, mainly after 4 p.m., high of 45 degrees and calm wind at first, but picking up from the southeast later in the day. Chance of precipitation 80% later today. New precipitation amounts of 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch possible. Tonight, 100% chance of rain before midnight. Patchy fog after midnight. Overnight low of 36, so it'll stay rain. East wind up to 10 miles per hour. New precipitation amounts overnight of 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of rain is possible. Tuesday's weather. Cloudy skies, high of 48, patchy fog, northeast winds around 5 miles per hour. Tuesday night, rain is 100% possible, patchy fog before 8 p.m., overnight low of 40, calm wind becoming southeast after midnight. New precipitation amounts on Tuesday night of 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of rain possible. Wednesday, 100% chance of more rain, with thunderstorms also possible after 1 p.m. High of 63, winds from the south up to 35 miles per hour. Thursday, mostly sunny skies, 41, a stiff breeze from the west up to 25 miles per hour. Friday, sunshine and 34. Saturday, mostly sunny and 37. And on Sunday, partly sunny skies with a high of 42.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with cloudy skies, we have 35 degrees. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
If you are looking for medical care provided with integrity and compassion for all patients, choose Landmark Medical Center. Why? We heal body and mind. From heart care and wound healing to preventative care and services specifically for seniors in the community. And we provide the high-quality care you need close to home, in your own community. We also offer emergency care when you need it most. Our emergency medicine team offers care 24 hours a day, every day. At Landmark Medical Center, quality, compassion, community is what we're all about. To learn more, visit the website landmarkmedical.org.
Are you looking for solutions to meet your business banking needs? At Milford Federal, the longest-standing community bank in the area, they offer customized solutions for commercial lending, cash management, online banking, and payment processing services. Their business banking team is committed to the growth and success of your business with local decision-making and a relationship-based approach. Let Milford Federal be your banking partner. Visit them at milfordfederal.com today. Milford Federal Bank, our community, your bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 465956.
This is Dave Richards. On Monday's Milk Fund Radio Auction, we'll put up for bid a beautiful handmade crocheted Afghan that fits a full-size bed, wine bottle accessories, a Spalding basketball, a Mickey Mouse wall clock, real spun glass teddy bear ornaments, and indoor-outdoor snowman lights, plus lots of valuable gift certificates. So join me, Joe Callahan, and our two celebrity guest auctioneers, State Representative Steve Casey and the manager of Woonsocket's Museum of Working Culture, Ann Conway, on the Milk Fund Radio Auction from 4 to 5 p.m. only on ON AM and FM radio and video streamed live for your convenience.
ON Radio.
It is Coffee In here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callan here with Dave Richards, Melissa Murray, and Paul Bourget. Other things going on in the city. We had our second murder of the year.
That's
happened on Saturday night over by the by the
still
Elks.
still better than Providence. They had their
Well,
second one in
yes.
January.
Yeah, I know. So that part's good, but obviously there's some kind of altercation, some kind of fight that took place.
right outside of Burger King, and
then it
moved
moved on to Elks.
moved on to the Elks.
So
Right.
a 32-year-old man was stabbed multiple times and died at Landmark Medical Center.
And had nothing to do with the Elks, by the way.
No, it just
That's
happened to be in the
correct.
parking lot.
Just
And,
it's the landmark we use for
yeah.
where on Social Street it happened.
And
Right.
no motive yet, and no suspect yet. So Woonsocket police are working on
Yeah,
on
that's
that.
terrible.
So yeah, happened right.
Well, we've got a great police department. I have great confidence in them. I know that they've got a lot of information they're not releasing just yet,
Oh, they
and they're
never do,
putting all
yeah.
the pieces together. We've got the flock cameras. We have every tool every modern tool at our police department's disposal, and we have a bunch of really sharp young people in that department.
Whomever you are, you're not going to get away with it.
Doesn't look good.
Don't try it,
Doesn't look
'cause you're
good
not
for you.
going to
I
get
wouldn't
away
take
with
out
it.
a 30-year mortgage right now.
We shall
That's right.
see, and it happened right at the tail end of the holiday.
Matter of fact,
stroll
I wouldn't buy a
place.
magazine subscription right
Right.
now.
Melissa, did you make it over to the holiday strolls?
I did not this year.
You were always such a big part of it.
I was a member for like 9 or 10
Yeah.
years.
Well, you were the voice of the McCarthy's Talking Tree.
It's a little bit, yeah, I was.
Yes, you
yep.
were.
But I haven't participated in that. I've kind of cut back, since I've been in the General Assembly, I've kind of cut back on like a lot of the things that I did. Unfortunately, I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't make it over there. That was probably my first year in a really long time that I hadn't gone. But I was able
Well,
to.
you joined me, kiddo,
Yeah.
because I meant to get there, and every hour I says, "Oh, geez, I'll go a little later."
No,
I'll go.
I
just
decided
wasn't
in the
up to it.
beginning. I said,
Ditto.
and I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to stay home tonight and just kind of rest and.
Well, I didn't throw in the towel until 7 o'clock, and I said, "I guess I can't go
Guess
now."
no.
So nice pictures in today, Blackstone Valley Calling Times of the
Yeah.
of the rain
Oh,
dog
yeah.
parade.
That was such a
place.
great idea,
Yeah.
and that was supposed to happen last year, but then there was that doggy flu, so they decided that it was just out of precaution to not do it, but they did it this year and it was so cute.
Well,
And
every
it
year-
wasn't my idea. I wish it were,
Every
but
year
it wasn't.
that this happens, and we have the Polar Express going at the same time, which is enough influx of cars into the
Sure.
downtown area to begin with. But we have 2 train rides, and we have the entire Main Street stroll
And the
it
Winter
all-
Wonderland.
The Winter Wonderland.
and the
Yeah.
Winter Wonderland down at the south end of Main Street, and it all goes. It's just so wonderful to see it all getting done, and it's like a peak for me, because I know many times on a Friday night or a Saturday night, maybe the fabulous Denise and I are driving back from another part of the city, and we drive through the Main Street area, and it could be any time of the year, and I look around at the vitality that wasn't there when we were kids growing up in the 70s. It just wasn't there. And the vitality with the Stadium Theater and all the restaurants around it and stuff like that, the lights that are on and things, the decorations on the Veterans Memorial used to be Court Street Bridge, and I just, your chest just swells up and says, well, we may be fighting against the tide, but we're gaining ground. And you got to be proud of Woonsocket for how we're fighting through this.
There are a lot of volunteers, and I volunteered for many years, that make that happen, that go out on their own time at night and, in the evenings and decorate Market Square or, in front of Honora Lippett and, all the little places that maybe are overlooked or neglected, but they put a little joy there so
That's
that
right.
when that night
Or a
happens,
basket
everything
or
lights up.
something, yeah.
Just a little something to, make it, to liven it up. And then when it all comes together, it's really, really nice to see.
It's for me, it's reminiscent of when I was a kid in the 50s and 60s. Main Street was bustling.
Yeah.
There wasn't a parking lot at all, and
That's
until
right.
you went It was the Blackstone Hotel.
That's
You-
right, right
when
next-
down in the hole, my father used to say, that's where you parked, and et
Yes,
cetera.
and you walked, yeah.
If you could.
If you could, and it was stores everywhere, and there used to be a choir singing every night on the roof of City Hall. That lower roof.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Every single night there was a choir singing.
Wow.
So if you see,
a good
everyone
idea.
looks at A Christmas Story at Christmas. It was like that.
Okay.
You had to. You always banged into people. You always hit people as you were walking up and down the sidewalk.
Right.
People selling hot chestnuts, people selling hot peanuts, etc. It was nonstop, and all the toy stores were on Main Street.
That's right. Well, things changed
times-
during the '60s
They
when
didn't build the
McCarthy's
malls.
moved out, and then Pietz moved out, and then things. That wasn't the only two, of course.
No.
But things changed by the time I was a kid in the '70s. Okay,
was
it ain't the same as
you
what
were
you
right.
experienced.
Right.
So, but we've rebuilt quite a bit, and
we have.
the vacancy rate on Main Street is extremely reduced from when I was a kid. Seriously
agree.
reduced.
Yeah.
There may be places that I don't even know that are up. I mean, we've got 2 museums on our Main Street. All right, let's see Providence say that, or Cranston say you can't say. There are 2 museums
The
on our
Broadcast
Main
Museum
Street,
is awesome.
plus a theater that is just bustling beyond belief, and restaurants and stuff. And okay, we've torn a few buildings down that helped the parking lot, and thin things out a little bit like that. But we've also redone an awful lot of buildings too. So
Yes, sir. Yes, we have.
good going, Woonsocket. Keep up the good work.
On Sunday, we had the ON Radio second annual Bowling for Milk to benefit the Milk Fund.
That was
The
yesterday.
Walnut Hill Bowl.
We had a ball.
We had a
had
great
several
time.
balls.
Several balls, a couple of pins.
That's right. Yeah.
I figured after a 35-year hiatus, Paul, I decided, all right, I'll bowl.
How many gutter balls
This
did you
is
get?
we don't count the gutter balls, Paul.
I didn't see this man throw one gutter ball. In fact,
I did.
I didn't see it.
You were at the lunch counter at that point?
Well, I had my other duties to take care of.
Yeah.
One of them was posting. I'm there with the camera. You got to go on our Facebook page. Have you seen it, Melissa?
No, I haven't.
'Cause
No, not yet.
I know you spent some. Go to the ON Facebook page. That's Woonsocket Radio, WOON AM and FM, and check out Joe Callahan. I got a video, and the only video there, I did snapshots and things like. The only video
It's you.
was Joe Callahan bowling a ball. You've got to go take a look at this,
Okay.
and then look at all the comments
good.
afterwards.
But you figure, bowling's like riding a bike. I get the
Yeah.
general knowledge. You got the ball, you roll it down the alley, you knock the pins down. Okay,
Right.
simple. Wow. After 35 years, though, my first game,
Yeah.
100. Now 300 is
That's
high
a
as you get.
perfect score.
That's a
like-
perfect game.
All right. So the first game, I only got 100. And I was like, well, all right, I got to go again because I want to get better. Second game, 111. Well, it's a little
Wow.
better. Third game, 116. A little better. Now I'm getting tired now. But I said, all right, I'm going to do
But he's
one
in a
more.
groove. He's in a
I'm gonna do
groove.
one more.
Yeah.
After 3 games, I think, all right, I think I figured out what I'm doing wrong.
Right.
And the fourth game, 156.
Wow.
I said, all right. And I did get 3 strikes in a row in the 156.
So we went from
game. So
30%
I went, all right.
to 52%.
There we go.
3
That's not
strikes
bad.
in a row, huh?
I got a turkey. That's what
That's
it's
it.
called.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
right.
what it is.
That's right. So, and of course, now I'm nervous going for the 4th one. Did I get it? No.
No.
And
Too much
only-
pressure. Too much pressure.
Out of all the 4 games, I think maybe 3 gutter balls.
That's not bad.
That's
for
way
35
And,
years.
and I was always
Than
going
I
for
would
the.
have done.
I was always going for the 7 pin.
Yeah.
And so, all right, I gotta hook it so and it would hook too early. And now I'm in the gutter.
Well,
I'm like,
that's a way to
"Nah,
put it. It
jeez."
hooked too early.
And hooked it. That's
It's
right.
not my fault.
And it's so funny because I showed Dave.
Melissa's watching
She's
the
watching
Facebook video right now.
the Facebook video. So
Wow.
see?
Okay.
Dave got a
Go
strike.
watch the video.
I couldn't believe that.
Watch
that
the
it
video,
happened
it's
while he was
great.
doing it. But it's funny.
Maybe you could show it to Paul.
And now I know why professional bowlers have their own ball. Because
Oh, my goodness.
the ball is smooth and perfect.
Nice shot too.
The ball,
Perfect.
the
Zooming
ball
in, that
you,
was
you
perfect.
you use from the bowling alley, which is great that they offer it. But I even showed it to David. David said, "Look at all the chips that are knocked."
Yeah,
the
I
thing
know,
Was,
yeah.
It was almost square instead of round. It's-
Cannonballs
Well, that's what
in the-
happens when you use the bowling alley's
Yeah, I know.
balls.
Civil
They've
War
been used.
cannonballs have less
nicks in 'em.
nicks than the bowling balls. That's all I know.
But I've had to use this ball because this is the weight I need to use
Right.
Yeah.
for things to work. So, but it was a good time, and we raised over $200.
Yeah, we did.
That's great.
For the
Good,
book
good,
fund,
good.
It was a lot of fun.
Yesterday, so and it was a lot of fun. So, so we're happy. We were happy with that, and thanks to everyone that came out.
We got the milk fund in front of a lot of people who aren't from the area that don't know about the milk fund too. That can't hurt.
That's right.
No, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you think? Show of hands. Is the truck toll system coming back? No.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
been
Of course
deemed
it is.
okay. Yes.
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 Oh, yeah.
Melissa says no.
Nope.
No, you don't think they're gonna
truck
turn it-
tolls?
The truck tolls. They're gonna turn it back on. Start tolling the trucks.
I mean,
It's up to Dan McKee, right? Is it up
Got
to
a
the governor?
$400 million deficit.
There's
How can you?
No,
I
well,
have
hold on just a
ideas, but
second
nobody
here.
wants to listen to my ideas.
I don't understand, Melissa. I'm gonna strike up a conversation with you on this because from my point of view, I look at this and the reason that they were not taken down was because the state was appealing them and because it's a very costly matter to take them down.
It is. It is. Yes.
So they shut
right.
them off and left them there. And I says, as long as they're there, they're going to be
turn it back
abused.
on,
As long as they're there. And then somebody in Massachusetts, I forget the name of the person, said, we should have tolls coming in and out of Rhode Island.
Oh, that was the
and I said to
governor.
I said to myself, was it Healy that did
No,
it?
no, it was someone under
Somebody under her, yeah, I
Healy.
thought. And
Department
so
of transportation. Yeah.
so I says, so Dan, it's like this. Just make a phone call. Say, hey, we've got ours up already. All I gotta do is sign my name to a piece of paper, and we're tolling you. You want to think about this?
Right.
And I said to myself, there was a great deterrent. It's almost like détente, you know. It's a great deterrent against a border war with Massachusetts. So I says, well, that was probably a good idea to have that. But when I saw this thing come through on Friday from the court, I said to myself, they can use them legally? I says, well, that's a horse of a different color. But I said to myself, it's like this. They're there. I think I understand what the governor has for a personal opinion on it, that he doesn't want to go near it with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
And I said, and there are others in elected office that will feel the same. I said, but the pressure of the legislative deficit is going to change everyone's mind, and by this time next year, they're going to turn them on. That's how I felt about it. It's going to be one of those things like, well, we can't get any money from the state to fix the schools, but they're going to give us almost every nickel to build a new one. It's like, this is not a decision. This is not something where you sit there and say what I want to do. It's what you can do.
Well, want to get Melissa's reaction to that, Dave, but we're going to take a break on this. So, Melissa, you're up next.
A cliffhanger.
Yeah, cliffhanger. So we're coming back to Melissa right after this.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
Did you know you can shop local this holiday season?
And ski and ride free till December 24th.
Shop at Mountainside Ski and Ride at Wachusett Mountain.
Spend $100 or more and get a free lift ticket good through Christmas Eve.
Located in a Wachusett Beach Lodge, Mountainside guarantees lowest prices.
Check us out on the web at wachusett.com.
It is Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us, Joe Callahan, Dave Richards, Melissa Murray, and Paul Bourget. And we got to get to Melissa.
In our last episode,
says
I was expressing
will not be
confidence
turned
that
on.
the tolls will be reinstated on trucks, and reluctantly, in a much more liberal manner than before. To which Melissa replies,
Ta-da!
Go.
Okay, so it will be interesting to see this year's budget as presented by the governor. I have not had any conversations. It's been too early because it just came out. I've not had any conversations with legislators about this. Whether the truck tolls come back, I mean, I don't think the governor wants to do it. I don't think a lot of legislators want to do it. We do have a hole to fill. We may be
and this could be pennies from heaven
do
there,
it.
Melissa.
We may be forced to do it, but then, you've got to think about how that affects the price of goods that are already so high. But I will tell you that, in my opinion, no way, Jose, are we gonna, right? No way, Jose, are we gonna toll cars. No legislator would ever vote for that. You're done.
No, I'm sorry, Melissa. You got 2 more years before you have to face the consequences.
I'm not. I
Has
wouldn't
everybody
vote for
stood
it.
for re-election already?
Well,
And including the governor's got 2 more years.
It's not going to include cars. I can absolutely tell you that there's absolutely no appetite for that. And the people who are worried about that, talk to your legislator, because no legislator is going to toll
That's a kiss of death.
cars. First of all, it is a kiss of death, and secondly, right, because
There's a guy who's run for election a couple times. He knows the game.
Here's the thing about politicians. They like to stay in office, and most of them, not all of them, are there to do the good stuff, so they want to stay there. But also, it's the wrong thing to do. So I'm not going to vote for it.
Doesn't mean it won't be done, though.
I'm not going to vote for it, and I don't think it'll be done to toll cars. I really don't. I just can't see that happening.
Could the governor do it as an executive order, though?
I don't think that would happen. I don't know if he that remains to be seen. He could try it,
I like
but it
your
wouldn't.
attitude, Melissa. Keep saying no.
He could try it, but that wouldn't. I don't think that'd be a very wise decision.
But now, Joe,
Okay.
when you asked the question of the 3 of us, it seemed to me that what you were asking was, do we toll the trucks again? You weren't
Yes,
going
not-
beyond to the
not
cars.
about cars.
And
But
I had an
folks-
opinion about the
Folks
cars.
will
but Melissa-
automatically go there.
That's right.
They
We
will
have-
automatically go there.
But Melissa, until the gantries are taken down, I don't believe that none of that will happen. If the gantries are dismantled, then I would start believing someone who's saying we're not going to turn them back on again.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid.
And
Yeah,
so
'cause there'd be nothing to toll.
Right.
that's right. Now,
We're
I
not gonna build it
understood-
again.
I understood the imprudence of taking them down while it was still under appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the Supreme Court is still somewhere out there as a possibility if somebody still wants to keep appealing this thing at great expense. But the facts are, the tolling trucks again, no brainer, gonna happen. That's what I was saying, right? This time next year, absolutely no chance we're not tolling trucks.
I'm
Because
sure
you've got pennies from heaven here. You've got a problem with a structural deficit, and the money's going to come from somewhere, and so it's going to come from a lot of those out-of-state trucks. But the problem was that they still said it was illegal to treat the Rhode Island trucks differently than the out-of-state trucks. So it's going to hurt the Rhode Island trucks as well as the out-of-state trucks. And heaven knows, I don't know the rules too well because I really wasn't paying attention when they first put them up. But we could be going to, I don't know, to Lincoln with a TV truck and we get a toll on it. Because the thing is 26 feet long and it weighs 8,000 pounds. Maybe it qualifies as a tolled truck.
I'm not sure about that. I wasn't there for that first round. That was before my time. So
Truck tolls are coming back, right? Guessing?
It's likely, but
Yeah.
not
Okay.
cars. I can tell you that.
But not cars.
Not cars.
And Paul, you believe trucks be told
Oh,
as well.
absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be making some of our transportation companies or companies like CVS that transport a lot
Yeah.
of goods. They're not going to be very happy. So I imagine the lobbyists are going to be very active in this
sure.
session.
But
But will
you-
they come back? I think they will until they knock them down. I agree with you, Dave.
Yeah.
We got a note
here's
called in.
hold on a second here,
Yeah.
Joe. Here's a little twist to all of that. Something that I was thinking years ago when they put them up. I said, this technology that they've erected at all these different places is just barely scratching the surface to be used for tolls. Because this same technology, all you have to do is throw in some software, and you can be monitoring cars' speeds. You can be monitoring every vehicle's speed and send out tickets for speeding remotely with the cameras, and you can lease it out to companies like the Flock camera system to add to their web of plate recognition and reporting.
I don't like that idea.
I don't.
Doesn't
like
matter how
that
much you
at
like it.
all.
The technology is
No.
there.
But Dave,
It is, and it's a scary thing. To
why
think
did you
about.
have that idea?
Yeah, take that
Because
back.
I'm suspicious.
Why did you put that
I
out in
had
the
that
universe?
idea when
I don't like
Flock was
that
being
at all.
introduced.
And I don't like those either.
I don't like it either.
There is no way that you could be driving down there and not have a camera snaps a picture of your plate. Okay, maybe they don't send it to the toll
Oh, damn it,
company.
he's not listening.
Maybe they just hold on to it, and then when you pass the next one, they say from here to there is so many miles. You did it in this many
Right,
minutes and
yes,
seconds,
of
and you
course.
had to be going 70 miles an hour to do it. And then off. I mean, right now.
I guess I'm gonna have to put a governor on my,
The turnpike people use the same electronics to send you a toll if you don't have a transponder. There is no reason why they could not
They do
develop
it in other
this.
states. If you drive out of the Dallas airport and you're going to, say, Fort Worth, because that's a heck of a lot, it's a hell. You get there too soon,
Yeah.
you get a ticket. Same thing in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you in the mail, and there it is.
As
You
soon
were
as those
traveling,
gantries went up and
you
I
got
saw
there
what
too
they were
soon.
using, I said to myself, this technology can be used for evil.
All right.
So we don't want
I
that.
want to get to the note that was calling because back to the truck tolls, and they just say, what about the no cap and CVS?
That's the one I'm talking
Right.
about.
Well, this is it.
CVS.
Treating different ones.
Yeah.
The no cap, that they said that was unfair, and you're not going to be able to do that.
So we can't cap the tolls.
They said that the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said no, that we are not striking that down. That you can't do it. That we're letting the lower court say, which said you couldn't do it,
Yeah.
stand.
I just think it's
Interesting.
yeah, we're short on money for the budget, but I mean, I think this is not a good idea to
Yeah.
toll the trucks or anything.
But there's
Because
other ways to take
you're
care
going to
of.
lose a lot. You could lose a lot of companies, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And what's that going to do to your economy? It's going to be even worse.
And it's going to be good for Connecticut's interstate highway system, I think, if they're thinking of of increasing the traffic out there. 'Cause the only reason you'd have to come to Rhode Island is to go to the Cape.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, this is the week that that the I'm not sure who picks them, the governor or whoever, but they're going to break it down to the two companies that they're going to go back and forth to who's going to fix the Washington Bridge. We have four
Right. They've got
proposals,
down to two.
and we'll make it down to two
Right.
sometime this week.
Then they're going to pick one in June.
Yeah, months from now. That's right.
Yeah.
I guess the Department of Transportation will make.
I wish they
that
start
call.
working in March like we're going to do here in Woonsocket on the thing.
No, that's not going to happen. So, not seeing the.
Do you feel uncomfortable when you drive that bridge now? I do. Everybody's on the east
one
side.
Yeah.
I every time I go on, I don't care which way. Hopefully, it doesn't collapse.
Yeah.
I have that feeling.
Everybody
I try
does.
to avoid it.
Everybody does.
Right?
Well, but
Yeah.
it's probably the most scrutinized span in the state right now as far as being monitored. And they had determined earlier that it could they could take all that traffic anyway,
Yeah.
and they've dropped the speed on it. So
I still worry every time I go
you gotta
on.
have
It's
you gotta
just-
have faith
yeah.
in something.
Yep. Hopefully it doesn't fall.
If you didn't have a prayer life, you might develop one as you go.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, that'll do it for the show for today. Thank you very much for listening in. Always appreciate it. Paul Bourget, thanks for coming in, talking about the groundbreaking.
Thank you
excited
so
about
much.
the new school?
Thank you so much for having me.
And you're excited about the new school?
Absolutely, can't wait.
Gonna be there on opening day?
Absolutely right.
Welcoming the kids in.
We'll be cutting that ribbon, and then when it's built, I'll be there day one.
Excellent.
Of course.
Excellent. All right. Melissa Murray, thanks for coming in today as well.
Thank you.
All right. Dave Richards, thanks for being here.
And I too thank Paul. I mean, you always bring a lot of liveliness to a room when you walk in, sir, and we appreciate your friendship too.
We'll be sure to tell your wife that.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. Stay tuned for Leslie Page at the Libraries coming up, followed by Food First with Karen Zangari and Milk Fun Auction this afternoon at 4 right here on ON Radio. Ooh, so what else is new? We're 30 seconds short.
What?
I am Miss Plan. So,
Just kidding.
Yes, just kidding.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, should I bring up another topic?
No.
No.
All right, I told Dave they're going to build a new dorm down at URI.
Yes,
okay,
they
that
are.
will not solve the problem of the kids.
Not even
of the
close.
kids, trashing the apartments. So there you go.
No.
But good money spent. New dorms. It's coming. All right. Have a great day, everyone.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. A man is dead.